Today's opening begins with Deja Vu with Doppelbock from Sucrum's Brewing in Winnipeg. They describe it as malty, rich, and malty, with an amber color and a subtle toasty chocolate flavor. Interesting. Once again, the chocolate flavor just comes through from the brewing process. No actual chocolate was harmed in the making of this beer. Oh wow, when they describe that as malty and malty, they're not kidding. So, first package in says waterproof something something thermal. Okay, temperature probes, maybe? 3 of them. Yeah, these look like waterproof temperature probes. So the actual sensing element is inside this little metal bulb here. Is that mildly magnetic? Maybe stainless, maybe something else? And then some heat shrink with it looks like it's got some glue in it, so that's cool. And at this end we have 3 wires. Okay. Got part number on here. Not in English. Just says 3 meters and then yada yada. Okay. I'll go digging through the listings. These shouldn't be too hard to find. 1 times waterproof DS18B20 digital thermal probe sensor, temperature sensor, etc. $2.48 with 19 cents shipping, and I got 3 of them. The probe is a DS18B20, which, if I remember correctly, is that Della Semiconductor 1-wire temperature sensor. So essentially, there's 2 different ways that you can deal with it. One is with a ground and a single wire that has both the power and the data on it, or the other mode, which is a little bit easier to implement, is plus minus and then a digital data pin, which I think is how I'm probably going to deal with it. Yeah, there we go. That's what we need to know. Red is positive, yellow is data, and black is ground. I probably could have guessed that, but it's nice to know that that's the truth. 100 centimeters or 1 meter long. Okay. And as I said, I got 3 of them. All right, next in, does it say electronic components? Oh, that's entirely unhelpful. We have here a whole bunch of diodes. 1N4001 rectifier diodes. So just super common little, what are they good for? 1.5 amp, 2 amps, something like that. Just regular old rectifier diodes. Got a whole bunch of them. What is that? Does that look like 100? Probably. Oh, 200 pieces. 1N4001 DL41, 1N4001, 1 amp, 50 volt rectifier diodes new. I paid $2.27 Canadian with $1.92 shipping. So 4 and a bit for 200 diodes, which is probably going to be close to a lifetime supply. Well, this is going pretty quickly. Let's see what this next one is. Again, it came from the reshipping warehouse in Mississauga. It doesn't have any customs information on it, so no idea. Connectors. 2 different types of connectors. These are the smaller ones. I'm assuming I have male and female. Yep. 2-pin locking. Weatherproof. See the little red O-ring in there? Polarized connectors. So that is a chassis mount on that side. And this side is a cable end, complete with strainer leaf gland on the back there. And even a dust cap. Oh, a bit of rubber in there. So that's a waterproof dust cap, or water resistant, or splash resistant, or something. Cool. SD13 2-pin IP67 waterproof 2-wire connector plug and socket electrical plug 10 amp. Wow, okay, 10 amps. 1 set for $3.56. I got 3 sets, so you can do the math, or $4.70 Canadian if you prefer. Free shipping, woohoo! So the specs claim to be 380 volts and 10 amps, AC or DC. So, because of my usual trust issues with these Chinese sellers and their specifications, I'm going to say it's good for 5 amps and maybe 120 volts. At least I'm not going to use it for anything more than that. And the other package is exactly the same thing. Oh, no, these are 3-pin. And these are larger. Okay. So 3-pin, same thing. Weatherproof or waterproof or water resistant. Keys, they only go one way. With a dust cap, with a boot. Yeah, nice. SD20 3-pin panel mount, waterproof, IP67 connector, plug socket, etc. 25 amps. I paid $6.51 Canadian each, and I bought 3 of them. So again, you can do the math. So again, this one claims 25 amps at 380 volts. So 120 volts AC at 10 or 15 amps. I would be relatively comfortable using this thing. I'll probably never use it anywhere near that though. Up to 14-pin versions. Wow. Yeah, they claim to be made of nylon with PPS inserts, gold-plated brass, solder terminations, 500 connect disconnect cycles, okay, and minus 25C to 85C. So probably won't want to connect it at the coldest of outdoor temperatures around here, but just for a standard project, I think that should be fine. All right, what is this? It says tracker. Okay. What kind of a tracker did I order? All right. Envelope within an envelope. Well padded, well packaged. Anti-lost, anti-theft device. Compatible with iPhone and Android, Bluetooth, Android 8 and up. Okay. So I think this is sort of the generic version of, what is Apple's thing? AirTag, I think they call it. I think that's what it is. I've been seeing people using this kind of thing for a while, so I just thought I might want to play with one. Because that's mostly what I do here, is just play with this stuff. A lot of it I don't have a super practical use for. I'm just curious and satisfying my curiosity. I hope that's why you guys are here too. So according to this little manual, I need an app, which I can get from the App Store. So I'm not all that concerned about it being completely nefarious if it's sitting on the App Store, although I will read the reviews before I install it. And it seems to use Bluetooth Low Energy and standard Bluetooth, depending on its needs. It says it can find the device up to, where is it? Theoretically up to 100 meters, but realistically 20 to 30, maybe 40 at the most. So I'm thinking this may not work the same way as the Apple AirTag does exactly. Because as I understand it, all the Apple phones have the AirTag functionality just running in the background. So if anybody with an iPhone or iPad, I guess, but probably an iPhone, goes close to anybody's tag, then it pings to the cloud, to the server. This thing seems to be more of a, okay, is my thing within my tag within 50 meters of here, and can I find it? But I think I will have to load up the app on a device that I'm not too concerned about and play with it a little bit. I don't know, maybe I'll do a teardown video of this at some point. We shall see. Smart GPS locator, Bluetooth tracker, alarm, key finder, tag, pet, child, wallet, car, SC, etc. I got the red number 2 version for $1.30 and free shipping. There are other colors available. I don't know why that red one is so much more expensive than these other ones. What do they have to say about it? Uses Bluetooth 4 low energy, Android 4.3 and newer, or all these other phones here. Okay. Battery included, CR2032, and yeah, this one does have a battery in it, but there is the app name. I wonder if other people having that app on their phone would ping from my device. I don't know. I'm going to have to play with that a little bit, and I'll get back to you at some point in the future. And the last thing in. This one came anonymously to my P.O. box. Thank you to whoever anonymously sent it. Oh, somebody else bought from this seller that keeps using this card but doesn't mention the seller's name. And it is another bag of screws. This is exactly the same bag of M4 socket head. What are these called? Flush mount flathead screws. Once again, these look like they go from M6 or from 6mm all the way up to 16mm in, what was it, 2mm increments, I believe it was the last time I got some of these. So thanks to whoever is sending these things anonymously. I appreciate it. And I'm not quite sure why the seller is sending them in separate batches like this, but whatever. I'm assuming they're not charging you postage for it. Some people have suggested that these random anonymous things might be coming from sellers that are trying to scam me, but I don't think so, because this won't be coming from anybody who I've ever bought from, because the information on the shipping label is different than the information that I use when I'm actually buying stuff. So unless they're just vacuuming up public addresses like my P.O. box is and sending things to people, the scam, as I understand it, is they send you something and expect you to do some sort of a review, but I'm not doing that because I don't know who it's coming from. So I don't know. I like to think that this is coming from some generous donor to the channel anyway, because it is all stuff that's relevant to my interests. So I don't know. If you are the one that's sending me these things, just send me an email to the email address listed on the About page, just so I can thank you properly. I won't shout you out publicly because you obviously want to stay anonymous, but I wouldn't mind just saying thanks. And there is the contents of today's Mailbag Monday haul. Interesting and varied. Some just generic standard diodes because I needed more of them. They're super handy to have and they were cheap. Although the shipping was almost as much as the diodes. These temperature probes. I've always been intrigued by these Dallas one-wire temperature probes. I've got a few of them just in their normal configuration, which looks just like a little transistor. But these ones will be good for outdoor project. The other cool thing about how these things work, other than the fact that, as I mentioned, you can run them just with a ground and one wire, and the power and ground go on the data wire, or in 3-wire mode, like I'm probably going to use them. Each one has a serial number from the factory burned into it, so you can put them all onto a single bus. So if you have a bunch of them, you can just use a single data wire back to your microcontroller and just address them each individually and talk to them. So obviously these would be good for outdoor applications, and I think that may be what I use it for eventually. What else? This little Bluetooth anti-loss tracker. I'm going to experiment with that. If you want to see a video, let me know. Otherwise, well, if the experiment turns out interesting, then I'll show you. Otherwise, it'll be a teardown. And then there's these weatherproof connectors. They seem pretty solid, pretty heavy duty. They've got O-rings and rubber seals all in the right places. Good solid cable grip on the back to grab onto the cable, and this little rubber liner inside there too. So I think those will be really useful for some projects that either live outdoors or bounce between indoors and outdoors. We'll see what I use them for eventually. Then finally, last but not least, we have these bags of M4 screws, which will go into general stock. Thanks to whoever sent them. Right. Yeah, thanks to everybody for watching. Special thanks to my Patreon supporters and my YouTube channel members for helping me pay for this stuff and keeping the mailbags rolling in and keeping the beer fridge full. If you want to see even more of these mailbags, there's a playlist of them that should be popping up there in the top corner right now. Yeah, that'll do her for tonight. Thanks for watching. I will talk to you later.